Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and all those terrible Jay and Silent Bob type pictures, man. You're listening to Drop the Mic, the only podcast that I listen to that I'm not a part of. Every podcast I listen to, I usually talk on it, but not fucking Drop the Mic. That's where I'm like, let me hear what the boys have to say. And now, we drop the mic.
Thanks for taking him, Seth.
No problem.
I can't imagine what you're going to do without each other next year. Evan told me you didn't get into Dartmouth. You going to miss each other?
No, I don't miss each other.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every night.
Me too.
When I'm out partying.
Go to school, boys.
Bye. Take care of those.
I never see you at parties or anything.
Saturday was actually a crazy night for me. Seth's parents were throwing this party, like a get-together, cocktail casual.
Wow.
And then we went to a nightclub.
You got in.
We got right in.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
You would have loved it.
Get my brand new fake ID.
Wait, you changed your name to McLovin?
Doesn't even have a first name, it just says McLovin.
This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor.
I am McLovin. Hello, Mindy.
Okay. I'm gonna need to see some identification.
Makes me feel young again.
Ethnically, was he like African?
Was he African? No, he was like you.
He was Jewish. So we have an African Jew wearing a hoodie.
Tonight is our last party as high school people. You know when you hear girls saying like, oh, I was so gone last night, I shouldn't have slept with that guy. We could be that mistake.
Engage.
Hey, Becca.
Lake?
I love you.
I love you.
Why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
I just want to go to the rooftops and scream, I love my best friend Evan. Boop. You're like the coolest person that's ever talked to me, and I blew it.
Come on, you didn't blow it. I think maybe...
Welcome back to our humble San Diego podcast. It's now 2023, and we are coming at you with brand spanking new content. We are your hosts, Wesley Swanson, James Warney, and Ryan Jimenez, and together we are the Drop the Mic podcast. So this is episode 302, People Don't Forget, where we're going to be taking a trip back to the year 2007 for a review of Superbad. But before we get into the movie, let's warm up. How are you guys? What's up? Anything new?
Good. How's it going? Nah, nothing new. Survived the holidays. Yeah.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
Guess I'll start it off. It looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson, better known for some of his roles as Quicksilver in the MCU and the lead in Kick-Ass, the 1 and 2. He has actually met with the head producer for the James Bond, basically the James Bond franchise, and it looks like he may be in talks to take the lead on that. So what are your thoughts? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Wes is familiar with that actor, but what about you, Ryan?
Yeah, dude, I think I read something about that too. That's awesome. Especially with what he did in Bullet Train. He was fucking dope in that. So I think that's a good pick. I mean, he definitely has humongous shoes to fill, but I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, I know they wanted a younger, they were going for a very much younger James Bond. But yeah, I think he's like in his early, I want to say he's our age, like early 30s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if they can get him, locked in and then have him for at least 10 years, I mean, that'd be cool. I'm excited to see if he goes any further. What about you, Wes? What about that news?
Yeah, I read that, I think maybe just yesterday, and I was excited. Again, to comment on what Ryan just said, Aaron Taylor Johnson was fantastic in Bullet Train. I think him and Brian Tyree Henry were like the best parts of that film for me. So yeah, I think that he has the acting chops for it, and he's like in like really killer shape. So yeah.
Yeah. Some interesting news that dropped, I think, a day or two. It looks like Warner Brothers Discovery is still open to the idea of keeping along Ezra Miller as their Flash for future DC films. They're currently working on James Gunn and Peter Safran, who we said earlier are kind of like the heads of the DC movie and TV film universe. They're still working on that multi-year plan, but it looks like since they've been able to keep out of trouble since the last incident with them. I guess they're showing some good faith with that, and the idea of keeping him around is not out of the question, like we thought maybe before. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that's pretty interesting to hear that.
Out of like all the people they could keep around, they'd keep him around, or they'd keep them around. I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about all this shit that's been going on with them, and maybe they're trying to keep people around now after seeing all the backlash of what's going on with Affleck and Cavill and Gal Gadot. So yeah, it's kind of weird that they pick that character and that actor to stick around.
Yeah, it seems like that's the only one throughout the whole Snyderverse, I guess, is the only one that it seems that they're considering to bring to keep with this new kind of reboot-ish type of universe they're going with. But yeah, I know I saw something earlier today too that it looks like Gal Gadot, her version of Wonder Woman is not in the plans for at least the next. Her specific Wonder Woman is not in any future plans. So, moving on, the Hunters series on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I think they just dropped their final trailer for their second season and their final season, which I'm kind of bummed out that it's going to be their final season, but definitely stoked for this series. Love the cast, Logan Lerman, a couple of other familiar faces. I don't remember their names, like Al Pacino, the main one there. But definitely check it out. Check out the first season if you haven't. The second season is coming out January 13th, so check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. After I hadn't seen the first season. I saw one of the first trailers for the second season. It looks really good, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, the first season is awesome. If you haven't, it's executive produced by Jordan Peele, which I had no idea until I rewatched the first season like a couple of weeks ago. I was wondering why it was so good. And then I was like, oh, okay, his name's attached to it. I don't know exactly what he did in creating that series, but his name's on it, so it's got his stamp of approval. Yeah, check that out. And my last bit of news is Dave Bautista. He went on in an interview saying that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be his final MCU movie. Looking forward to the future and having more dramatic roles rather than silly performances he had as Drax and stuff like that. So what do you think? Drax no more? I think Bautista in his more serious stuff is filler anyways.
It's sad that we won't be able to see him as Drax anymore, but I totally understand. He doesn't want to just be associated with that role, which most people do. It's either that or wrestling, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think he's the best wrestler turned actor. I think he's better than The Rock. He's better than Cena. Just with a few movies that he's done other than Guardians. And it's crazy that you brought that up because I was watching an interview with Shyamalan about that new Knock at the Cabin. He said someone asked him in an interview, like, how was it working with Dave Bautista? And he was like, he was one of the best actors I've worked with. Like, he's everything you want in an actor. And for him to say that is wild. It's crazy because he's worked with some of the best.
Yeah.
And he said that this role that he has in his new movie is gonna he's gonna be in a lot of people's lists for for best actor for this coming year. So yeah, dude, I'm stoked for that.
Nice.
Give Dave Bautista all the different roles he possibly can, and he's a good dude.
Yeah, for sure. That's it for my news, though. I don't know if you guys have any more. So whoever's next, go ahead, take the mic.
I'll go next. I have a couple. So Michael Giacchino, the famous composer, fucking did Batman. He directed Werewolf by Night for Marvel a couple months ago. It's been announced that he's going to make his directorial debut with a new take on I think it's like mid-50s monster movie Them. So it's going to be coming from Warner Brothers. I think they're trying to get producers on, but it's a go. He's going to make it. So it's pretty awesome. I think he's quoted as saying that's one of the movies that he remembers watching for the first time and like him falling in love with. It's kind of badass. I don't know if you guys have seen that original one.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm stoked. I fucking loved fucking Werewolf by Night. So yeah, it's fucking badass from the beginning. That first movie to be that. That new Evil Dead trailer came out. I don't know if you saw, James. I know me and Wes talked about it, but it looks fucking insane. So
that
fucking
looks
good.
gnarly.
I cannot wait for that fucking movie. And then the fucking cheese grater, I don't even want to fucking know.
Yeah.
What about you, Wes? What do you think about it?
Well, I have a little write-up for it, so can I just read it for you guys?
Yeah.
All right, so an Evil Dead Rise Red Band trailer dropped this week, and it looks every bit as demented as you could have hoped for. Plus, the franchise will move into a city backdrop for the first time, not including the show, of course. Excited and hoping the film will live up to the hype. Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Rise is set to drop in theaters April 21st, 2023.
Yeah, it's fucking nice. It's I don't remember if you talked about it, but it's Fede. Is he producing it? Is he one of the producers?
I want to say yes. Yes. And you and like we talked about, you and I off air, this new one seems to be carrying on the tone of the remake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even with like the makeup effects, the gore style, everything, it's like goes back to Mia, essentially for me, in my opinion. It looks good, man. And fuck all these people saying that it's ripping off Smile, okay? Because the Deadites have been around a lot longer than that. So
a little bit of more movie trailer news. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Mutilator 2 dropped its first trailer. So it's obviously it's a sequel to the first Mutilator. It's like a 80s fucking slasher cult classic. It's going to be a direct sequel. It's bringing back the original director and its original stars, Ruth Martinez and Bill Hitchcock. And then the sequel's taking place in the real world. So the premise of the movie is the stars are like reuniting for this Mutilator themed event at the original filming location, and now there's a brand new serial killer that's stalking the beach house again. I don't know if you guys saw this, or Wes, did you see this?
I knew that they had just wrapped up production, but I didn't know what the actual premise was. So this is new. This is news to me. It sounds like a new nightmare, essentially, right?
Yeah. And then at the very end of the trailer, they just fucking go batshit crazy, and Art the fucking clown from Terrifier makes an appearance in the trailer. And he's seen with the other killer, so I don't know where they're going with that, but I thought that if you haven't checked it out, check out that trailer. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. And I think that's all I got for my news this week.
Nice.
Very nice. I have a couple pieces that neither of you mentioned, so I'll get into it. Next up, Universal's newest killer doll flick, Megan, is dropping this week and sits right now at a 95 on Rotten so far. This will be one of the first bigger horror films to drop in the new year, of course. So let us all know what you think about it when you check it out.
It looks good. It looks funny. I've seen all the trailers and all the like non-spoilerly kind of reviews on it, and it looks everything like it. Everyone talks about how it leans into a little bit more of the campiness. So I'm stoked. I love campiness. It looks fucking crazy, and the premise is weird as shit. But yeah, I'm stoked. And whenever I get a chance to see it, I'm gonna go see it. And if you're gonna go to the movies this weekend, fuck going to see Avatar. Go give this movie your fucking money instead.
Yeah, I think Avatar's made enough.
Yes, it has.
Jordan was surprisingly very interested to see this movie. We watched the trailer on the TV. He's like, "Oh, it's like Chucky," and he loves Chucky. So I think that's when I saw that, I was like, "Yeah, fuck that." In terms of like if that was real, but it looks like a extremely entertaining movie. Pretty creepy. I love the doll just looks super weird and creepy. But yeah, I'm excited to see if this is going to be any good. And the trailers look like it's going to be good, so I have faith.
It's was James Wan
PG-13 too.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, we may not get as much gore as we're expecting, but
that's okay though. It's gonna make the money. Yeah. That's why they do it. It's smart.
But it's James Wan and Jason Blum are producing it. And I feel like we can all agree that the Insidious franchise is pretty good, and it's PG-13.
Yes.
So
yes.
Hopefully they've come up with some kind of formula that's going to be very good, regardless of the rating. Speaking of James Wan, while doing press for Megan, he opened up recently about the next Conjuring film, which will be the 4th installment, and hinted that this might be the last we see, at least with the regular cast we've come to know over the years. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think there's only so much you can do with that franchise without kind of painting it and I don't know, kind of killing it. But if he has a great idea, I feel like they've all been great so far. Yeah, if he's going to do another one, I'm excited to see it. If this is the last one for him to do, or for kind of just to close that door on this franchise, I'm okay with that too. I love the franchise so far.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they're no strangers to doing spin-offs and stuff, so I think just closing the door on the actual, like, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, that central core could be good, because you also want to be respectful to these real-life people,
right,
as well, who are no longer with us. I get it. Ryan, thoughts? No?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm for it. James Wan, I think, has done enough, given us enough to kind of not, like, I'm okay with this direction if they're going to end it. I mean, or he can keep it, end their story and keep the Conjuring kind of franchise going. But either way, it's James Wan, so I have full faith in him.
Alrighty, wrapping up news, I just wanted to throw out that Last of Us Season 1 will be coming to HBO January 15th, so everybody at home, watch out for that, because it is looking really fucking good. Pedro Pascal,
yes,
forever.
This is the way.
Dude, I think that's going to be, like, the games were, once in a generation, but the first one on PS3 and then the second one on PS4. But yeah, dude, I have a feeling it's gonna be huge, like Game of Thrones big, just because of how good it looks.
I'm just so glad that they went we live in this interesting time where television and movies are kind of blending together, and we're getting all of these kind of mini series and all this great creative stuff where they can tell extended stories, and The Last of Us deserves that, and I'm glad they didn't go, the Naughty Dog didn't go the route of that they did with Uncharted, just making it a big blockbuster, and we're going to get to spend time, the necessary time with these characters the way that the video game intended, if that makes sense.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
So I'm going to do a movie I think that we've all watched, Airborne. I don't know if anyone else listening has seen or heard of this movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It is a Brink-esque movie if you're a fan of Brink, but think of Brink with a more cinematic, I guess you'd say, budget, and I don't know, just the way it looks, a lot better. It's not really Disney, but check it out. And we get a lot of young, fresh faces of staples of comedy that we see now, or at least within the last decade or so. We get a super young Jack Black, Seth Green. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's not readily available on any streaming platforms. You have to rent it from YouTube or Google Play. But yeah, if you have the chance to see that or catch it on TV some way, I highly recommend checking that out. It is I want to say early 90s film.
Yeah, I think 94, 93. 93.
Yeah, so check that out if you haven't. It's a fun movie. Really cool.
I got a couple different things as usual. Diablo 2, I've been playing nonstop. It's been kicking my ass, but I highly recommend it if you want to go back and play it, or if you never played it. It's only available digitally, so you have to buy it digitally on like Switch or PS4, PlayStation, Xbox. But it's good. I like it. A throwback to those old classic dungeon crawler fucking RPGs. I rage quit today because I died and lost all my shit again. And it's harder than I thought it was. Like, I remember playing it over my friend's house, like early 2000s, and it didn't feel as hard. Diablo 3, like, I fucking ran through it. This one, I'm actually dying a lot and fucking having to like rank up things and then think of ways to get around people. It's rad. Moving on to some movies. Over the holidays, I went back to the Bay Area. Got to see Puss in Boots with my family. It's good. It's fucking really good. I think I told Wes off air, I read somewhere that people were calling it the Logan of the Shrek franchise, and it definitely lives up to that name.
Nice.
It's a good kids flick, and it's a nice, very good jump back into that universe, that Shrek universe. Hopefully we get more, especially of Shrek. And then it premiered on HBO Max, I think, last week, but it's called This Place Rules. It follows journalist Andrew Callahan and his gonzo journalism, and he's reporting on the events that led to the January 6th Capitol riots. What unfolds on screen is like, it feels like a fucking fever dream, but we actually kind of lived through all that. Those people are fucking insane, and he goes down rabbit holes with these people, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? Like, I thought I was fucking a little unhinged, but these people are like in fucking a whole other level. It's fucking awesome. I hope he gets all the recognition for doing it he deserves, and fucking hopefully all the awards, because it's fucking good. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yes, yeah. So you recommended this to me off air, and as soon as we got done, I think we were gaming for a bit. I watched it. I watched it right after that, and yeah, you're not lying, man. It's fucking good. It's funny. It's shocking. It's a great, unbiased documentation, and that's very, very important in today's day and age.
Yeah,
it's it's just incredible the way that it was presented and how this side essentially kind of make themselves look dumb.
Yeah, check that out. It's on HBO Max right now if you haven't. My next rec is The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonough, starring Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, Terry Condon, and fucking Barry Keoghan. It's on HBO Max as well. This one is getting all the Oscar buzz for 2022, as it should. If you like McDonough's other work, you're gonna love this. I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet.
No, not yet.
It's fucking awesome. Barry Keoghan is, I think he's gonna win the Oscar for supporting. He should, because his work in it is so fucking great. But yeah, check it out. It's on HBO Max right now. Wes, have you seen it?
No, not yet.
No. And there's a fucking one-liner in it that's possibly my favorite one-liner of last year and a fucking couple of years worth of movie dialogue. Colin Farrell has this dialogue that's fucking awesome in it, and it resonated with me. Yeah, check it out if you haven't. It's super kind of depressing and sad, but funny at the same time. But yeah. And then that's it for my recs, actually. That's all I got.
Nice. I have two for you guys. First up, Apple TV Plus's Emancipation from Antoine Fuqua does an incredible job visually with a dark time in American history. Will Smith proves he could have, in fact, played Django had he not walked out on that project all those years ago. I just watched this yesterday, and it's incredibly effective. Of course, all these movies having to do with slavery are rough to get through, but this one is really, at least in my opinion, it was done really well. Ben Foster is in it, and as per usual, he is very, very fucking good. Evil person in this. Have you guys have either one of you checked this out yet?
I haven't. No, I've heard about it though. And I've seen trailers for it. It looks really good. Just haven't gotten around to see it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, you guys should check it out. Smith, definitely for him coming off of King Richard. Yeah, for him, obviously he was fucking like fantastic in that, and for him to come out, since the controversy and this being his next project, he's just as fucking good in this. And yeah, everybody should watch it. It's got a very disappointing 46 on Rotten. I'm not sure if that has to do with, politics and stuff, of course, but Antoine Fuqua is a beautiful filmmaker, and me and Chris, for Black History Month, I'm not gonna reveal the movie that we're going to do, but it'll be an Antoine Fuqua movie for Black History Month. So everyone can look forward to that. Go ahead.
Four face laughs out of 5. Oh.
Oh, too early. No.
Yo, honestly, can I bring something up real quick though?
Yeah.
Real quick. So all that shit happened, right, with him. We had to fucking hear about it for fucking 3 months. I know we talked about it a lot on this. And Wes, I know me and you talked about this off air, but like all that shit with Dana White and what he did is totally not getting as much as what Will Smith did. I know Will Smith was on national TV during one of the biggest awards show ever. But I feel like, again, people pick and choose, and people pick and chose with that situation.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy you brought that up. I just heard about that today with Dana White. I still don't even know what happened. I just heard it someone briefly mentioned it on a podcast I was listening to, and that was it. I had to look it up to see what was the whole thing. I had my first time hearing about it.
People are making a big deal. I know his new show got canceled by ESPN, but a millisecond after that Will Smith shit happened, it was on. And like I said, it was on national TV. I get it. It was fucking everywhere. Like, you could not put on the TV, look on Twitter, look on Instagram without someone saying something, making a joke about something, whatever. But this Dana White shit, like, I haven't seen anything on ESPN. I haven't read a lot of articles on Twitter. I haven't seen anyone talk. A lot of people talk about it. I haven't seen anybody. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because I feel like the Dana White thing is a much more severe because it's domestic violence in public.
Yeah.
Case, like, and it was filmed in a club. It was in public. Very unacceptable. But let's move on.
Yeah.
So my final rec is the Menu, which was one of the surprise hits of 2022, and it's finally hit HBO Max. For everyone who hasn't seen it yet, check it out. Anya Taylor-Joy, Hong Chow, Ray Fiennes, and Nicholas Hoult all do a fine job in this, and I'm pretty sure, Ryan, you saw this in the theater, correct?
I did. And I remember wrecking it too, and you're like, I don't know, guy. I was like, listen, dude. No, I saw it in the theater. It's fucking great. I loved it. It didn't crack my top 10 of last year, but it definitely was one of the best I saw, and it was super surprising too.
It's readily available right now. Go check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The Menu.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, so we're talking about SUPERBAD. It's rated R. It's from 2007. It's a coming-of-age comedy. It runs at 1 hour and 59 minutes, and it's got a well-deserved 88 right now on Rotten. Directed by Greg Mottola, written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, starring Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, Bill Hader, Seth Rogen, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and Emma Stone. Here's the synopsis. Seth and Evan are two best friends who are about to graduate high school and move on to college. So in an effort to close out the end of this chapter in both of their lives with a bang, they embark on a mission to score liquor for a gigantic house party that's happening, but various obstacles stand in the way of them and the two women that they hope to win over before the night is done. The idea for SUPERBAD started with screenwriters Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg while in their youth, and its story is loosely shaped around their final year of high school. The film itself took 7 years to complete, with early development starting in 2000 and the film being finished and released on August 17, 2007. SUPERBAD proved to be a smash hit, grossing over $170.8 million on a $20 million estimated budget. Over the years, it has become considered a classic comedy by many with endless quotability and high energy. SUPERBAD was released in 2007, which happens to be the same year I graduated high school, so it goes without saying that I was the ideal demographic for the film and saw it at the perfect time in my life. With the leads being hugely relatable and iconic, it's a film I've seen countless times, with the raunchy jokes still hitting. The film is arguably one of the last great comedies depicting life as a young millennial. The technology shown is sparse and immediately takes you back to simpler times, and also manages to channel the emotions of moving on after high school and the fear that comes with potentially losing lifelong friends and starting over as an adult. 4 out of 5 veiny dick drawings. Thank you.
Yeah. Triumphant. Veiny bastard.
All right, James, you had an interesting take on this one, and I want to hear what you have to say about this film, man.
This film, so this came out in 2007. I would have been junior? Junior, yeah, I believe junior in this, when this came out. So, a very relatable movie when it came out. I think even now, just, rewatching it, being able, kind of transporting me back into those times when I was in high school. It's, like I said, I think when I was trying to decide to pick this, it's kind of one of those movies that in today's climate of how everyone wants to play it safe and stuff like that, and no one wants to offend anybody. I think this is kind of one of those last movies that in that genre or that time that got to come out and was kind of wasn't really tethered by anyone or worrying about anyone's feelings. You can definitely tell that by the language in this. I mean, just the things that happen in this. It wouldn't fly in today's movie industry, I guess. It's like you said in the early review, the synopsis. It's one of those movies that's kind of you can relate so well with it, and it's quotable to like almost every word, every sentence in this film is almost quotable. I think me and my buddies, when one of us started talking about it, we'll just start throwing out quotes from this nonstop, and that'll be like a 10-15 minute thing where we're just dying laughing. Yeah, this movie for me is probably I'd say one of the best comedies of its time, if not still now. But yeah, I highly enjoy it, and the ending still kind of gets to me. Thinking back how it's a really emotional ending. I don't want to get to it right now, but yeah, I love this movie. I think it's probably one of the best things that come out from Seth Rogen, or the mind of him, I guess. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you had brought it up that James wanted to do this just so we can talk about why don't these kind of raunchy teen comedies don't get made anymore. First off, I think it's one of the greatest rated R teen comedies of all time. Like James, like you said, like the one-liners and the quotes in this movie are like forever being used throughout my with my friends, and like you said, even with my girlfriend, we quote this movie all the time.
Yeah.
And even 15 years later, it still makes you hysterically laugh. I think a lot of us, like kind of like you talked about, James, this was, we were the West you talked about in your write-up. This was, we were the demographic they wanted, and we all went to go see it. I think I had just graduated high school in 2006, so I was 18 when this movie came out, and I fucking thought it was the best thing ever. But I also kind of was sad, just like you said, James, about the ending, because it's such a kind of all this shit happens, and the ending is just how it is, and it's kind of how I felt leaving all my friends in high school. But what I wanted to say about this is that I don't think these kind of movies are made anymore, because there's not really not necessarily, I don't think anyone, I mean, I'm sure it has to do with the fact that everyone's trying to be PC and things like that, but I just don't feel like there's a need for them anymore. Not saying that I wouldn't go and see them, but the general population of moviegoers, I don't think, we need a raunchy rated R comedy like this. That's what I was going at, and that's why I think that they're not. That's why I think they're not made anymore.
So by that, do you mean that you feel like the Gen Z are not down with this as far as like the culture wise?
Mostly that, and just mostly, everything I think is up to this. This was really one of the first to kind of show teenagers like this, and to this, like for us, for our generation. But everything has been kind of done already, and I think that nowadays with fucking influencers and YouTube videos and TikTok videos, all these kids have literally seen everything. To us, this was only 15 years ago. To us, this was what the fuck, like holy shit. Like, I cannot believe they're talking about this, or they're making jokes about this. But nowadays, I just don't feel like it's, like I said, it's needed by this younger generation.
I'd say this generation coming up is more. It sounds so fucking old saying that. their high school experience is probably way different than we experienced it, and the way it was portrayed in this, in this film.
Yeah.
So yeah, a movie like this wouldn't make sense to them in terms of being relatable or relatability. Yeah, I agree with you. That makes total sense.
Like the early mid 2000s, going back to the 90s with stuff like American Pie, Road Trip. Like you don't see stuff like that. Even The Hangover, like you don't get comedies like that too much. It's more, rom-com type stuff. You don't get these kind of like almost like college demographic raunchy comedies. And I do think what you said, Ryan, is valid, that filmmakers are scared because of the time that we live in. Even stand-up comics are not safe, there's no safe ground as far as what is funny and what is not. So that's when you have people like Todd Phillips, who are known for these kind of comedies going in crazy new directions, like with Joker and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is pretty interesting.
It's crazy too that you bring that up, is because it's perfect, because he went from making those comedies and those raunchy comedies to making a movie like Joker, and now doing this Joker 2. And they're two completely different movies, right? And one is the movies he used to do or was known for doing were, raunchy comedies, and now he's doing super ultra violent movies. And it says a lot about how where we are in society, what is more acceptable with comedy like that, and movies that kind of glorify violence like that, with in the day and age of all these mass shootings and these people trying to get guns banned and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you would think that it would be reversed, but it's not.
Exactly.
So the whole cafeteria scene for me, when they're arguing about, I think Evan basically is leaving Seth at the cafeteria, and he's like, "You want me to fucking eat my dessert alone, like fucking Steven Glansberg over there?" And it's just some guy by himself eating pudding. Was hilarious, because there's so many things in this, like little things like that. It's like, holy shit, like they're so relatable in terms of, just thinking back in the high school. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that kid who sat like alone, like by himself. It's just things like that, little things like that, when they're on the field playing soccer. And I don't know, this film just brings back a lot of memories from high school and things like that. It just makes, I think that's what makes it so good, just the relatability of everything.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they wrote it when they started writing it when they were in high school,
right?
Or young.
Yeah,
they wrote it.
I believe
going through
14 is when they started doing the kind of treatment for it, which is insane.
That's crazy.
And I think what else makes it kind of makes it super relatable is how well Sarah and Hill's chemistry is. Like they feel like you're watching two best friends, and you feel like you're watching them their relationship grow into this relationship at the end, where they admit that they love each other, and we can all
oh my god yes,
we can all relate to that. It was kind of we thought it was weird saying that kind of stuff, and just being like, hey, I know we're cool and everything, and at the end it's like, Jesus, like, you have to tell everyone you love them, and especially your best friends, every single fucking time you can. It's just I think that's one of the main reasons why I love it. It feels like you're watching two best friends, and it has a lot to do with Jonah and Michael Cera, and just the way it was written.
Yeah, it's like at its core, it's a bromance between these two best friends, and them kind of learning about life, or real life, in a sense. And I love how the movie is clever and especially in the ending, kind of breaking down that stigma, like of homophobia and stuff, and just telling us as consumers that and men, like, it's okay to voice your emotions and your feelings towards your friends. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you any less. So it's really interesting how there's so much to unpack in this, even outside of just the comedy.
I love Rogan and Hader in this as the buddy cop duo that are kind of in and out of this movie with Fogel. I think them in this was this the first. This wasn't Seth Rogen's first film, was it?
Knocked Up came out the same year, actually.
It did.
Yeah, they were as they were writing it, get everything done. They were filming Knocked Up.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
This was a huge movie, I think, for everybody in this cast. I think it shot a lot of them into like the stars that they are now.
Even Emma Stone, this was her very first movie. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many of my friends after seeing this had Emma Stone as their like wallpaper on like on their like home computer screens or something.
I don't know if you guys read about this, but all of like the minor characters that they talk about in the movie, and like and the name you mentioned, James, when they're in the cafeteria, like those are all real people that they grew up with, and that dude was like that guy was like kind of like a loner in their school.
Oh wow!
Even at the party, cool. All the names they drop, they're all real people that they grew up hanging around with, or went to high school with, or went to parties with.
I love how they tie in the whole Jimmy's brother thing, like earlier in the movie with the guy who hits Jonah Hill. He's like, he's talking to Evan. He's like, "Hey, you got a brother named Jimmy? You look just like his little brother, man. Man, yeah, that's crazy." And then later on, they go to the party. Like, "You're Jimmy's brother, aren't you? You're the singer." I loved how they tied that back in. Like, it kind of went full circle, and then he has to play along, so he doesn't get his ass beat by some coked out guys in a room. It was that's probably one of my favorite things.
There's so many cameos in this, like Martin Starr's in that room, and then in the high school, there's Dave Franco. Like, so many people that are just have super bit parts, and they're just around. It's crazy. What a cast! These eyes. These eyes, I've seen a lot of with you.
Have you guys ever noticed that that's the song in the cop car that's playing right after that scene? Like the scene after they go to they're with Rogan and Hader. That's the song that's on the radio.
Oh my god, no!
It is.
Yeah. It's the scene right after, right when they go back to them, and they're in their car. Yeah, that song's on the radio.
I just watched this and I did not put that together. But
it's super faint. You really have to listen to it. But yeah. No, I was reading about that. Did you? I read this article about how one of the other songs they filmed and they wanted to do was the song.
Oh, for Cisco?
Yeah. They filmed like one scene of him just like dancing, and then one scene singing that song, and then another scene singing the thong song. And they obviously went with the other one.
Oh my god!
I think
McMuffin.
Yes, that's one of my favorite scenes when they're in the restaurant and the cops are there with Fogel. And this homeless guy starts making trouble, and they're trying to stop him, and he just kind of loses his shit, and he's all, "It's you, McMuffin." I reference that all the time, and nobody gets it, so it's fun. And then when Fogel tries to stop him, the homeless guy runs through the kitchen to try to evade the cops, right? And he just like pretty much strong arms Fogel into this like this tray of food or whatever, and Fogel delivers this line where he's all, "Leave me alone, you fucking bum," or whatever. But the way his delivery is so spot on, it's great. especially that this was also Christopher's very first film. You know, when the credits roll, it says introducing Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and he's just so fucking good and like naturally gifted, you know.
Yeah. Oh my god, the opening credits! I had to say it's probably one of the best opening credit scenes in a film, with just Jonah and him dancing the whole time for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and the let's give a shout out to this soundtrack, which is so unorthodox because it's a contemporary film with just nothing but soul and funk the entire time. Even well, they do play the Notorious B.I.G. in one of the house parties, but for the most part, it's all kind of period stuff, but it works. Like, you never question it. It's just so fluid. But how they came up with that, as far as a music direction, is wild.
Speaking of period stuff,
no, it's Merlot.
It's Merlot, yeah. He's like, why the fuck do you have my detergent? I got fucking blood on my pants.
I was reading that was one of the jokes. They thought they was either gonna like be one of the best in the film or was gonna tank the movie. Like they were even going about like if they filmed it, he has the blood on his pants the entire time after that. So they had shot scenes if that joke didn't work to like go around not showing his pants throughout the rest of the movie.
Oh wow. Jeez.
And they said that I was reading that Seth and Evan, they really knew someone in real life, a girl who that happened to.
Oh god.
When Seth, or Jonah Hill's character, when he realizes, he's all, why would there be blood on my pants? I'm not cut. Like, what? And then he puts it together. He's all, did someone fucking perioded on my pants?
Oh my god. And there's those guys who are just yelling across the party for other people to come look at it.
Yeah, taking pictures.
He's like, oh my god, dude, I've never seen this in my entire life.
And he touches it. He's all, it's fucking blood, dude. It's blood, dude.
He's wiping it on his friend.
It's so crazy that you can probably like. I was thinking about like the significance it still has in pop culture, and you can walk into like a fucking Target or Walmart and find a McLovin shirt.
Yes, that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to tell you guys a story about when I saw this in theaters. Well, I saw it a bunch of times when it came out that summer, but it was the same summer that Rob Zombie's original Halloween came out. I take my oldest sister, Ashley, shout out. She's probably like, I want to say like 13 at the time, 14. I take her down to one of our local theaters, and I was smart because I was like, well, they'll let me in, but I don't know if they're going to let her in. So we bought tickets to Ratatouille, and we went in to see Halloween. Matched up the times. I took her to see Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then she loved that. That's about 2 hours, and then we had some time to kill, so then we movie hopped to. I took her to see Superbad right after, and it was so funny seeing her reactions to everything, and she was just dying like on the floor of the theater.
Oh my god.
It was so good, but it's definitely like a big memory that I have with my sister, you know, having
that's cool.
Taking her to do hood rat shit with
me. Oh man, remember the good old days of jumping from theater to theater. There's one scene in particular. It's in the beginning when they're going to the liquor store, and they're looking at the it's like Playboys or whatever they are, like Hustler magazine, and it probably means nothing to anybody else, but there's a scene they buy drinks. I think Evan buys or Seth buys a Red Bull, and then Evan buys a slushie or whatever, and he goes, "Oh, can you get this for me?" It's funny, that little thing where he just says, "Can you get this for me?" And I feel like that's at least me. I don't know if I'm reading too much into the scene, but I feel like that might be something that always happens with them, because that's something that always used to happen with me. I would be the one being, "Hey, can you get me that drink, or can you give me those hot Cheetos at lunch?" And I think with one of my good friends, Steven, if you're listening, I know I racked up probably like $2 or $3 grand over a course of high school, the 4 years of high school, constantly every single day at lunch or during break, being like, "Hey, can you give me that soda, or can you give me that cookie, or can you give me those Cheetos? I'll get you back later." And I never got him back to this day. I every once in a while joke about it, but yeah, that is something that that little thing right there reminded me of that. And like I said, it's a relatable movie. Even if that's not the point of that little thing, I took it as that, so it's my own thing. But yeah, little things like that is one of the special parts of the movie.
Even you better run your homie's pockets, bro. You need to get that hot Cheeto money back.
Yeah, it really does.
I was that friend too. I was the friend buying everybody shit because I was like the only one in high school who had a job.
There you go.
Look at you, Ryan, being productive.
There you go.
It wasn't, no. I wish I didn't. I wish I was the other friend asking for it.
He never said no, so I just kept going.
Hey, that's a real homie.
Yeah, he never bugged me about it either. "I'll get you back next time," but there's never a next time.
I was like, who the fuck buys a slushie at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning?
I know.
It's funny, when I was looking this movie up, a news article popped up like 2 days ago. Again, super like the weirdest coincidence, but the kid who plays little Seth, who draws all the dicks, it was an article about how much that scene has made him money. I think he's like 25 now, and since then, he's racked over like $100,000 in royalties just for that fucking one scene of him drawing the dicks or pretending to draw the dicks.
Oh my god!
But yeah, like I've been like, kind of made me rich just for those little scenes. Also, I don't know if you guys read about how they couldn't have any of the kids looking at that, so like when they filmed that scene, they had like body doubles do it, and then they had the kid just react to nothing, so they didn't even know what they were reacting to.
Oh man, principal. He's like some crazy religious nut. You know, possessed by some dick demon.
You know what types of foods are shaped like dicks?
The best kind.
That is true, though. Yeah, there's a I don't know if you guys read it. There was a really good Vanity Fair article for the 15th anniversary, like over the summer, and it has everybody in the cast. It's an interview, and they talk about like all this shit throughout that interview. It's a really good interview.
So I'll just jump into the ending. I don't know where we're at in this, but to me it was kind of like it's a really sad and emotional movie. I think the first time I watched it, I kind of my eyes got a little watery because I was like, man, this is what, at the time I hadn't graduated. So seeing this, I'm like, this is what it's gonna be like. And I love how they have Seth kind of, he's going down the elevator and they're parting ways essentially, and it's them coming to the realization that they're best friends, now and hopefully forever. But that's something you have to come to terms with, that their friendship may be going in different directions now because of just growing up and leaving high school.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what the point was of them kind of going their separate ways. It doesn't seem like it's that serious. They're just in the mall, one's going up and one's going down the escalator.
Right.
Well, it's also the fact that they kind of by chance like run into the two girls that they had been pursuing the entire film, and they want to hang out. So then their plans of them hanging out, you know, to get was Evan's comforter and like new clothes and stuff kind of falls through, and then they make these other plans, and it's almost like a metaphor for them parting ways, you know, for college, because as you know, as it's a running joke throughout the film, Evan is kind of keeping the fact that he got into Dartmouth and that he's going to be rooming with Vogel and not Seth, which Seth becomes very offended by, because it's almost like he's like, what? Like, you're my best friend and you're choosing this guy over me, you know? And then so that all comes into play in the end, and they work things out. But it's also it sucks when they're saying bye and Seth is like, "We'll put it there," you know, like almost like a final handshake.
Yeah.
If my buddy did that to me, I would probably be offended, because it's like, no, fucker, like what? Like this isn't. We're not, you know, suddenly not going to know each other. But the future is uncertain, and you know, just make sure your friends every day know that you care.
Make you cry.
And that's, you know, and getting into like us doing the podcast and having it be a thing for 6 years now, that's what's so cool about having this be a thing, this platform, you know, because it keeps us in the loop with each other. It gives us an agenda, you know, it forms a reason for us to hang out, whether it be on air or not. There's a schedule there. And so we're always intertwined with each other's lives because of this show. And it's a special thing. And I'm glad you guys have stuck around, and I hope you have as much fun as I do with it.
Hold on, let me grab some tissue real quick.
At least for me, it's hard to find the time to do this, but to know that I'm attempting to make time to do this is, it means something to me if I'm trying to make time for it. So, I know the last couple of episodes I haven't been able to be around or be available, but you know, work happens, life happens, and I guess that's essentially part of the film as well. Life happens, things go on, but yeah, I love doing this, and I'm going to keep doing it with you guys as much as I can. I mean, been doing it for me and you, Wes, have been doing this thing for 6 years, pretty much.
You know, and then it goes without saying, like, the point of it doesn't matter that you can't do it every week, because me and Ryan and everyone understand that, because of all of us, you have the most responsibility as a family man nowadays, and we can respect that. But you always have a seat at the table, if that means anything.
Yes, I appreciate that.
I'm just a new guy. Happy that you guys said, "Hey, you know what? We'll let you be on." But no, I'm to like go along with that. No, like it's pretty awesome to be a part of something like this, and kind of every week I have something to look. Not that I don't have things to look forward to in my personal life, but this gives me something to kind of get away from work, get away from everything else, and hop on here for like an hour and a half with you guys. It's kind of it's very, very, very awesome. And I've said it multiple times how stoked I am to do this with you guys.
Didn't mean to flex on you with the 6 year.
Oh no, dude!
Ryan.
No, hell no, no. You're never gonna. You guys are the OGs. You're the OG.
And kudos to you for sticking around, because I think sometimes me and Wes have hard times trying to keep a third host on. So you're doing a stellar job.
It's just awesome to have Ryan around, and that he's so committed, and whether you're the new guy or not, like, you've just done an absolutely phenomenal job week after week. So thank you for being such a great co-host, man, and friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Going back to the movie, what do you guys have a rating? What would be your rating for this?
We're going off of 5. We're going off of the 5 rule, right?
Yes.
Out of 5, I'm going to give this a 5. For me, nostalgically, just this movie, for me at least, since day one of watching it, from earlier today watching it, is it's never old. I can watch this again tomorrow and laugh still. I can watch this after we get off recording this. I can rewatch it after we record this and still laugh again at the same things I laughed about 4 hours ago. For me, that's a quality in the movie that I look for, and that's what this one has. At least for me, I give it 5. What about you, Ryan?
I think I'm right there, maybe 4.5. But yeah, no, it's like you said, and like we've been talking about, it's the fucking perfect teen raunchy comedy. Like, it doesn't get much better than this, and I don't think anything will top this. I'll even put it as it's better than a lot of those late 90s, early 2000s movies, American Pie, things like that. I think it's way above those flicks. So yeah, no, 4.5, I think, for me.
Pussies on the pavement, fellas.
I
Take a picture.
had no idea. I had no idea what he was saying, but that just has me dying every time. Oh my god.
Or when Bill Hader's fucking, it's like a couple seconds, but when he's dancing in the house party after they just broke it up.
Oh my god, yes. I was gonna bring that up too. Oh man, I fucking forgot about it. That was hilarious. And
the music he's dancing to is like anti-cop, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, no justice, no peace.
Don't trust the police. Oh my god, yes. And Stephanie's like, I'm gonna stab you with this knife, cut your fucking face off, put it on, and go in there and buy the beer myself. Like, you don't have the steady hand or the technology to do that.
So there.
You look like fucking Pinocchio.
Yeah, you take that vest off. You look like Aladdin.
What about you, Wes? What would you rate this?
This is 4 out of 5 for me.
Nice.
4 out of 5. When the cops fucking break up, they cock block Vogel. And they're like, They're like, yo, friends don't do that, man. You just cock block Vogel. We should be guiding his cock. You know,
not blocking it.
But they're whispering. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
They're like,
did you guys read that? I was reading. Where did I see? It might have been in an article. It might have been something else. But I guess like cops used to come up to Seth Rogen and tell him like, oh, like you're the reason why I became a cop, and Seth Rogen would be like, no, did you actually watch the movie? Like, it's not supposed to be like that.
I was a horrible cop.
Yeah, they're literally drinking and driving and fucking doing crazy shit. They're like
doing the breathalyzer, trying to see how drunk they are.
They're at a bar. They tell the bartender, yeah, we can't pay for these, so
let's get out of here.
And then Seth Rogen's character goes, yeah, can we get 10 beers for the road? I got a couple Swan facts if you guys want to hear them before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so writer Evan Goldberg's brother actually drew all the penis sketches featured in the film, and he, although there's only a handful that are actually seen in the film, he submitted over 1,000 sketches for this.
Holy shit. Wow. Damn, that's a lot of time. I like to see the crazy ones that didn't make it on the screen. The ones that did were fucking amazing. Hilarious. Hilarious. Mr. T one? Oh my god. With the mohawk? It killed me.
Actor Christopher Mintz-Plasse was only 17 when the film was shot, so his mother had to be present for his love scene.
Oh my god. That's gotta be Embarrassing.
I guess he said that it actually, having his mom present made it better for when they went to the premiere. So it wasn't uncomfortable for them because she knew, it was already coming up, and they've never spoke of it to this day.
Oh my God.
Seth Rogen was originally set to play Seth, of course, in the film, but because of his obvious age at the time, it didn't make sense. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it would have been weird? I feel like even then, like looking at him, how he looked as the cop, like there's no fucking way he would pass for high school at that point.
No. I feel like he looks almost too old to be in college. he's like the guy who's like still in college after like 9 years. He's like, yeah, I'm just here to fucking party.
Fucking Donkey Kong, man.
Fucking, yeah. Oh, man.
All right. And my final swan fact, the crew actually shot a clean version for TV at the same time of production, and the crew would leave the cameras running for hours, capturing many, many moments in the process. So they would literally...
Wait, so there's two different versions? So there's one on TV and there's one...
Yeah, so they would shoot a scene, the dirty scene that's actual, what we saw, the theatrical cut, and then they shot a clean version, so they would redo the scene without any swearing or foul shit for like a TV
for like TBS,
yeah, like a censored version that you could run on FX or whatever basic cable. They literally shot two movies. They shot the movie twice. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts on Superbad? Check it out now on streaming on Prime for all you streamers out there. Check it out if you haven't already.
I can't imagine anyone who hasn't seen this movie. I feel really bad if they haven't. If someone listening, if you know someone who hasn't seen this, please introduce them to this.
My coworker, who is only 25, has never seen this. So there are people, they do exist. It's pretty fucking weird, but
that's wild.
That's like you've never seen Superbad. Wow.
I don't even think
that's the first thing I would say.
He's never seen The Matrix either, so I don't.
Oh my God. You can't work with this person.
You're
bad for your health.
You cut off.
Oh man.
Yeah. So people exist, but if you're one of them out there and you, for some reason, you're listening to our little pop culture podcast, check out Superbad from 2007 on Prime.
Yes.
It's definitely a milestone for comedy. It's like, what John Hughes did for the 80s is, what Superbad did for us. So check it out.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's go back to 2012. Let's do. I think you guys haven't done this. Chronicle?
No, we've never done Chronicle.
No.
Michael B. Jordan. Dane DeHaan, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, I feel like I always fucking I butcher that guy's name, and he's really good, so I apologize for that. James.
Yo.
Why don't you tell everybody out there where they can find us?
All right. So if you're just stumbling upon this podcast, we are Drop the Mic. We are a San Diego-based podcast, and we are pretty much available on every single platform that plays podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, anything that plays a podcast. I can guarantee you we're probably on that there. If we're on there, give us a 5 stars, a positive review, a thumbs up, subscribe or like or whatever it may be. If you have the time, leave us a positive review. If you want, share us to your friends, family, and coworkers if you think that they would enjoy the stuff that we talk about. We have a huge catalog, over 300 episodes now of past episodes you can go listen to and hear and tons of movies and news from years ago. Check that out if you'd like. And follow us on Instagram. That is at @dropthemic_podcast. Me and Wesley are both attached to that. You can see our weekly focuses. You can comment on those. Let us know if you loved the episode, if you hated it, what we could do different. Anything like that, it's always welcome, constructive criticism. And if there's a film that we haven't done that you want us to do, you can write us on a post or you can DM us and write us there. We'll respond to you as quickly as possible, usually within the same day of that question or comment. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. And we have a Twitter, and it is, remind me again, Wes?
It's at @DropTheMicPod. Check us out on there. So next week, Chronicle, and I just wanted to give a quick plug to our Best of 2022 episode that just dropped. It's 2.5 hours of myself and Chris Pollock, a very close friend and constant collaborator with the show, talking about all of the movies and television that we loved for last year now, and then there's a bit on the stuff that we didn't like so much. So hit that up, give us some likes, some streams. It's a lot of fun, very funny bits in there. And until next week, gentlemen.
I want to give a shout out to Chris too. Miss you, man. I know we haven't talked in a long time, but I enjoy your episodes when you're on them. So shout out to you.
Yes, the GOAT.
Yes.
All right, fellas. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, James, for making time to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Ryan, for being the ride or die that you are. We love you.
Oh, yeah. Love you, man.
All right. So, until next week, this is Wesley Swanson, James Warney, Ryan Jimenez signing off, saying good fight and good night.
Evan, get into the game.
Take it over to me.
Seth, get off the field.
Dude, get out of here. They're gonna make me run laps again.
Dude, just fucking listen, okay? Jules and her stupid fucking friend came up to me, and they asked me to buy her alcohol. But not just her, for a whole party. You know what that means? By some divine miracle, we were paired up, and she actually thought of me. Thought of me enough to decide that I was the guy she would trust with the whole funness of her party. She wants to fuck me. She wants my dick in or around her mouth.
Did you ever think that maybe she's just using you to get her alcohol? She doesn't want your dick.
Yes, of course I thought of that. That's like the first thing that came to my mind. Just listen.
My older brother always says like the nastiest shit. Like he called me Hyman until I was 12.
Seth, I want to blow you.
And she didn't say that, come on.
She didn't say the second part, but the first part. She's got an older brother. And she could have asked him, but she asked me. She looked me in the eyes and said, Seth, Mama's making a puby salad, and I need some Seth's own dressing. She's DTF. She's down to fuck, man. Right. P and G. She wants to fuck, man. Tonight is a night that fucking is an actual possibility.
You just sound like an idiot. You're not gonna be able to sleep with her, man.
No. Dude, I don't want to talk a lot of shit, okay? But she's gonna be at the party, and she's gonna be drunk, and she likes me at least a little, enough to get with me. At the very least, I'll make out with her. 2 weeks hand job, month blow job, whatever. And then I make her my girlfriend. And I've got like 2 solid months of sex. By the time college rolls around, I'll be like the Iron Chef at Pound and Vaj.
Okay, can you just get out of here and we'll talk about this later?
Fuck, Evan, we're down 2 points.
Fucking calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
Fuck you, man.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again?
That was like 8 years ago, asshole.
People don't forget.